Good morning and welcome to a presentation of the work Closing the Loop with Construction and Demolition Waste. This is a report prepared by Luz-Angelica Rodriguez, Pedro Enel Quiroga, Omar Parra, Nicolas Bernal, and Enrique Estupiñán, who is speaking to you. This is a joint project between the programs Electronic Engineering, Industrial Engineering, Civil Engineering of the Colombian School of Engineering. Let's start with a brief introduction of how things are in Colombia and in comparison with things in the European Union. We have the CDW, construction and demolition waste, recycled only on the 20% of the ones produced in Colombia, and in the European Union it's recycled almost 70% of the materials. Even the filling materials is recycled with 85%. Only 15% of the materials go to the landfill. In the construction phase of any building, the natural aggregates like sand, pebbles, and some other stone materials accounts for 45% of the materials used in the construction. Also, the concrete is used in 42% of the materials for the construction. So, the stone materials, or the ones that derive from stone materials, accounts for 93% of the weight of all materials. Speaking about this construction system, we found out that there is the structural masonry. In this system, it is used 1,412 kilograms per square meter in average. In the industrialized system, that is the second more common, we found that 1,264 kilograms are used per square meter. And in the most common construction system, that is confined masonry, it is 2,407 kilograms used per square meter. So the most common uses the more raw material in order to construct the buildings. According to the design of the buildings, we found a lot of standards used. We found the LEED standard, we found the BREEAM standard, that those are the most common, but those focuses on the use phase of the buildings, not in the construction or even in the most important part that we consider now, that is the deconstruction of the building. This is the disassembling of the building. So we need to create a new standard that allows a building to be disassemble and to recover the most of the material that can be recycled. In Bogota, the capital of Colombia, there are around 6 million of square meters constructed. Some of them are new, some of them are old. Whenever you construct new buildings, you may use some other areas that are already built. So in order to construct new buildings, new housing, you need to demolish part of it. In the demolition of the houses already built, it produces around 1,129 kilograms per square meter. In the construction phase, the raw material usage is produced, or the materials is produced, the CDW is produced in the preliminaries and in the excavation part of the construction. In this case, we see that whenever you perform a renovation, you just want to build in the same land that is already being built, so you normally make it more dense, so you construct in the same area more floors, more apartments, so you need to dig a little bit deeper in order to construct the buildings. The excavations normally accounts more whenever you make more tall the building. In our standard, we see that 1,45 cubic meters are produced whenever you construct 1 square meter of area, of new area. In the construction phase, there are many costs involved. The most common cost that you think about is the workforce. In our case, the workforce is not the one that is more important. In this case, the materials, raw materials used in construction are really important, even more than equipment or machinery used in order to construct the building. That's the reason why we think that closing the loop is going to help to reduce cost. Whenever the building is already constructed, the housing is already constructed, then you use it for more than 20 years. But in this phase also, the remodeling of the house is important, and this one is not as the production of the CDW is not as big as in the construction phase. It is around 1/3 of the construction phase. The problem in Bogota City is that this is not done under license, so you don't need to ask for permission, and you don't account how much material you use, how much material you recover. You just perform the remodelation without informing. This could be a big number in the production of CDW, but actually is not accounted yet. Whenever you get to the end of life of the housing or of the building, there is a organic material. In this organic material, we consider mainly soil, and in the inert materials that we consider the brick, the concrete, that can be used to recycle and to produce some aggregates to the concrete. Those are accounting for 70 to 90% of the residues. In the end of life, we see that from 2012 we went to from 13% of the CDW recovered up to almost 20% in 2070. It means that the CDW are in increasing every year. There are some particularities about Bogota and its surroundings. In Bogota, there is no land used for landfills. So in the surrounding municipalities, there should be some of these lands used for the landfillings. And the transport from the construction site to the landfill site generates CO2 emissions affecting the environment. In Bogota, although there are some plants that treat and use and recycle the CDW materials. In the surrounding municipalities, there are also as more than 4 times the ones that are in Bogota. So, transport is a big issue in this change of construction. The column that says clean points is one strategy that is used by the Bogota government in order to collect all the materials that are produced by this small remodelation in houses or even in apartments. The distance covered by the construction to the landfill or to the recycling plants are around 30 kilometers approximately. How we deal with the intention of buying housing from the Colombian or Bogota's people? The population of Colombia is divided according to the income. There are 50% of the population that earns less than 4 legal minimum monthly wage, and there is 36% of the Bogota's people that earns between 4 and 6 minimum wage, and 14% that earns more than 6 minimum wage. Also, In the rows, we can see the available housing that is in Bogota. There are housing less than 130 million Colombian, 35 million Colombian pesos. There is housing for 135, between 135 and 355 million Colombian pesos, and there is more than 355 million Colombian pesos. You see the distribution of people that wills to buy this kind of housing. Below 4 minimum wage, most of it, they want to buy housing less than 135 million. And you can see the same behavior, the contrary behavior in the people that earns much more. In the graphic, you can see that the increase from the 2015 to 2050 is going to be almost 100%, from 2 million up to 4 million homes projected in Bogotá. Our model causal loops are made of the housing demand, the construction, the recycled material, the raw material, the CDW generation, and the CDW collection, the CD that goes to landfill, and the CDW that goes to recycling. Our base model shows that whenever you change the rate of construction, you see the CDW generation is reduced or increased accordingly. Although in average it is a raise of the CDW generated. Also the material is increased, and also the reduction of CO2 is increased. We implemented a policy that simply stimulates or generates more space for businesses dealing with the CDW recovery. If we just increase constantly the number of businesses that do this CDW, we see a lot of improvement. 46% of the CDW is reduced, more than 200 increase in CDW recover, and of course the possibility of use more of the CDW are present, not necessarily used. There are benefits also in the CO2 emissions generated, because then a lot of material is not transported from the sites, the construction sites, to the landfill sites. Finally, then we think that CDW grows because the housing demand also has growth, and it is related to the growth of households of the population and the population. Of course, there is insufficient dams, and we need to increase the recoveries. Whenever you increase the recoveries, you can reduce the cost to the builders, and maybe it could reduce the price of the housing. Whenever the recoveries increase, reduction in CD is present, increase of recovery material is present, and reduction in unrecovered CDW. All of this over the base model. Of course, there is a lot of CO2 reduction, but we need a lot of studies to confirm and to support these conclusions. These are the people and the addresses, email addresses, whenever you want to contact them, and we are here to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much.